Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley, joined with meteorologist Andrew Gorton. Andrew, 2026 gone off to a pretty chilly start, but it sounds like that'll be changing in the coming days.
Yeah, this being the coldest morning that we had out of really the going forward, I guess you could say, out of the next week and a half. So warmer overall as we go into the new year. So let's take a look at what we have there. The polar plunge, not necessarily something that is warm, but sliding on in there from the beach to the water. You've got temperatures that are going to be in the 50s, which are very close to the actual water temperatures as well, which doesn't really convince me to want to go and do this, but it's fun. I'm sure it's very refreshing, and a lot of folks do it, so it's pretty rewarding for them. So excited to see that coverage as we go later in the day. Nice and sunny, pretty quiet. If you look close, you don't really see a lot of movement down there along the riverfront area, but it was packed with thousands of people yesterday. And today, probably maybe sleepy this morning, but as you get moving into the afternoon hours, you'll enjoy nice temperatures. We're warmer than where we were at this point yesterday, with temperatures now in the 50s all across the board, from the inland areas all the way to the coast. So low to mid 50s, pretty common out there at 11:02. Big picture wise, not many clouds out there whatsoever. We've got some well offshore, and that westerly wind going to be around at 10 to 15 miles an hour as we go through the day as well. So highs going to jump up about 10 degrees from where we are now. Low to mid 60s, a little warmer south and west of Savannah, but overall very nice. Through the afternoon, you got those temperatures that are dropping back down into the 50s by 6 o'clock with mostly clear skies, so great weather. And temperatures actually going to be near average as we wake up on your Friday morning, near 40 degrees for many areas. So gone are those freezing temperatures, at least the widespread freezing temperatures for the foreseeable future. Next few days, popping this in, temperatures in the mid 60s on your Friday, more clouds moving in. Then Saturday's the next day to kind of highlight with the potential impacts for those plans, because we've got rain coming in. Graphic I've not shown in quite some time, the convective outlook. So 1 out of 5 on the convective outlook scale is the marginal risk. And that's what we're seeing across the coastal empire and for our low country communities on your Saturday. We're going to look at this spotty showers in the morning. And then where you see the yellows, the oranges, that's where we could have a little bit of thunder lightning action. So how it's timed out right now would be the bulk of that moisture and any thunderstorm activity would be in the afternoon and into the evening. So you can see that moisture building in here. It's probably going to be off by an hour or two this far out. There's a margin of error at this point, but you can just plan on late afternoon into the evening, that moisture coming in, and that's your marginal risk. But it clears out pretty quickly, likely by midnight. And then we've got the cooler, the slightly drier air coming back in as well as we close out the weekend. So rainy there, second portion of Saturday, some spotty showers before that. And then we see the 50s for highs and some inland lower 60s on Sunday. Morning lows back near 40 for your Monday, Tuesday, but really does look like by the middle of the week, 70s will be back with us, and at least as of right now, a trend that would go to the end of next week as well. So cooler air is kind of behind us, and overall a warming trend here over the next week or so. So things to look forward to for outdoor activities today, tomorrow. I know you're a motivating runner, at least to me. I'm like, well, Jude would be running right now. I should do that. I'm going to try to go out today since the weather is so nice.
There we go. Yeah, just maybe stay away from Saturday. I'm okay with rain as long as it's in small doses. The weeks where it just rains every day really gets to me, but, a one-off here or there, I can totally deal with that.
Usually how it is, especially with kind of the cold front season, if you want to call it that, maybe twice in the 7-day forecast we'll have greater than a 30% chance of rain. So it's not too common this time. They're usually a little drier, but we can get stronger storms during January. So you just have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. The ingredients can be there for severe weather any day of the year. Thankfully, nothing too concerning right now.
Sweet. Just get through today and 2026, starting off with some pretty solid weather.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we are going to continue with our top stories. We do have something just into our newsroom. Savannah police arrested a woman after an overnight shooting. They are calling it a domestic shooting. This is just into our newsroom. Here's what we know right now. Savannah police arrested an adult woman yesterday. It comes after a shooting that happened around 9:30 p.m. last night on the 1900 block of Quincy Street. Savannah police say that they responded to the scene based on shot spotter reports, and when officers got there, they found that the male victim had been transported to a hospital by a private car. He is in stable condition. The suspect, who's an adult female, was found near the scene and arrested. Savannah police say the investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 912-234-2020, or you could submit an anonymous tip through the SPD app. Well, we have two overnight fires to tell you about. Both happened in Beaufort County. First, a family was displaced after emergency crews responded to a house fire on Glaze Drive in Burton. Firefighters entered the structure searching for anyone trapped inside. An adult female and two children were able to escape before crews got there. The adult female was taken from the scene by Beaufort County EMS for non-life-threatening injuries. The fire is still under investigation, and again, that was only the first fire of the night. Officials say just after midnight, while crews were still cleaning up the fire on Glaze Drive, Burton Fire responded to another fire at the Bay Mobile Home Park on Shanklin Road. It happened after a family of 5 noticed smoke inside their home while getting ready for bed. The Burton Fire District says they arrived on scene to find smoke coming from a mobile home, and nearby neighbors were trying to put out the flames that were coming from underneath that home. Firefighters were able to extinguish the fire before it spread to the mobile home itself. No injuries were reported for this fire, and its cause is under investigation. Well, countries around the world said goodbye to 2025 overnight. Many rang in the new year with spectacular displays of lights, fireworks, and music, while some nations also somberly remembered lives lost to recent tragedies. In the U.S., millions gathered to ring in the nation's 250th anniversary. CBS News' Kamal Afzali has more from the celebrations across the world. Take a look.
A stunning fireworks show over Sydney to ring in the new year. An hour before, crowds fell silent to honour the 15 victims of last month's deadly shooting attack at Bondi Beach. Hong Kong said goodbye to 2025 with a scaled-back celebration, a month after a tragic high-rise fire killed more than 150 people. In Beijing, revelers braved sub-zero temperatures at China's Great Wall to watch a light show count down to 2026. Light and fireworks lit up the skies from Dubai to Egypt's pyramids, from the Arc de Triomphe in Paris to the Thames River in London. But at Kyiv's Independence Square, lights were dimmed at midnight for a nation still at war as Ukraine enters a 4th year since Russia's full-scale invasion. Across the Atlantic in the US, Americans from sea to shining sea ushered in the nation's 250th anniversary year. The iconic crystal ball over New York's Times Square was lit up red, white, and blue to commemorate the milestone.
We're doing great as a country. We're back.
President Trump played up his first year back in office, welcoming 2026 at a New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago. While in the nation's capital, images celebrating the country's history were projected onto the Washington Monument. Kamal Afzali, CBS News, London.
And the new year means new state laws are taking effect today in Georgia. Niamani Watson has more on those laws going into effect today.
New laws for 2026 include a decrease in the state income tax and help for homeowners when it comes to storm damage. Here are some of the laws that may impact you the most. Georgia's flat state income tax will decrease again to 5.09%. It's part of a plan to get it under 5% by 2027. Listen up, drivers. Private property owners can now boot trespassing vehicles in cities that allow it. The owners are required to post warnings. And lastly, helping homeowners with disaster relief. Georgians can now create a catastrophe savings account. Senator Larry Walker III says this will give homeowners a financial cushion for repairs before disaster strikes.
And to feel comfortable going with a higher deductible on their homeowner's insurance to get that homeowner's insurance premium down.
And starting July 1st, cell phones will be banned at all K through 8th grade public schools during school hours. Reporting from downtown Atlanta, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Well, if your 2026 New Year's resolution involves budgeting, you might want to take note of some federal changes happening today. Social Security recipients are getting a 2.8% cost of living increase. The administration's earnings test, wage cap, and maximum benefit also are going up. But Medicare Part B premium costs are rising almost $18 a month. Meanwhile, millions of people on Obamacare are facing much steeper costs. Pandemic-era Obamacare subsidies are gone as of today. Meanwhile, this is the first regular tax season with changes in effect from a bill signed in July. They include higher standard deductions, as well as new breaks for seniors, car loan interest, tips, and overtime. A proclamation sent out yesterday delays tariff hikes on some furniture, kitchen cabinets, and vanities that were set to begin today. Finally, the president's travel ban is now expanded to 39 countries. Well, today, many of you may be cooking some New Year's Eve dinner. And if you want to put those Christmas gift cards to good use, some stores will be open, but many of them are on shortened hours today. Now, standard FedEx and UPS pickup and delivery services will be unavailable today. Retailers and grocery stores, including Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, Whole Foods, and Kroger, will be open, but they have modified hours. Trader Joe's and Costco will be closed today. And another heads up for the new year, the USPS is changing its postmark process, which could affect the way you send out important mail like bills and ballots. For decades, the postmark used to show when mail was accepted by the post office. It was used as proof that an individual met a deadline, such as a ballot on Election Day. But now that postmark will reflect the date an envelope is first processed by an automatic sorting machine, not the drop-off date. Time-sensitive mail should now be mailed several days before a given deadline. Well, if you've already made your New Year's resolution or your vision board, you're not alone. But here's the challenge. Many of us fail before the end of January. But here's the thing. Your brain might be working against you. So you might want to consider a different type of goal setting. Resolutions have been around for 4,000 years. That's according to Clemson professor Danny Weathers, but streaks are fairly new compared to that. Apps like Duolingo, MyFitnessPal, and Strava for running are turning goal setting into a game with notifications to remind you to keep playing. For some people in the low country, those reminders work. That pressure to keep a streak motivates them. But for others, it's about meeting a long-term goal instead of a daily one. Professor Weathers says the key to starting a resolution is defining one specific action to consistently do. Daily reminders can build lasting habits if that motivates you.
I did a survey of people who have daily streaks of running at least 1 mile, and there was over 40% of the people in the survey who began their streaks on January 1st. People feel pressure to keep up their streaks. It's a bigger goal, and people like to achieve goals. So we have the daily behavior is a short-term goal, maintaining the streak is a longer-term goal. So people are motivated for that reason, but not all people are equally motivated by streaks.
Now, experts say to start small with your resolutions. You can pick one action, set that daily reminder, and give yourself permission to really find what motivates you, whether that's a streak or a bigger goal. Over time, that streak of yours might become your newest habit, so always start day one.
Keeps Georgia on my mind.
The song of the Peach State is officially in the public domain. Georgia on My Mind was composed by Hoagie Carmichael and its lyrics by Stuart Gorrell. It was first published in 1930, 1 century ago. However, Ray Charles' timeless rendition was recorded in 1960 and is still under copyright protection. Turning now to sports, the last practice has been finished, the field has been painted, the final handshake has been shaken, and it's just about time for the Sugar Bowl. Georgia and Ole Miss play in the college football playoff quarterfinal tonight. Bailey Burmaster with our sister station in Atlanta is getting everyone ready for kickoff from the Big Easy.
It's going to be a showdown of two SEC powerhouses. One, Ole Miss head coach Pete Golding said he didn't want because the SEC teams are just built differently. It was this exact matchup that handed the Rebels their only loss of the season when the Dogs finished on top 43-35. The first 12-team playoff in 2024 produced as many rematches, just one, as there had been in the entire 10-year history of the 4-team system. This year, though, the number of rematches spiked. 2 of the 4 games in the first round of the 2025 college football playoff alone were rematches. But this isn't the first time this year the Dogs have had to face a familiar foe for a second time in the season.
You know, they're still the same team that we played before. You know, it just one coaching change doesn't really change the fact that they still had the good offense that they have. 'Cause I don't think they lost any players. I don't think any players left that they have. So they still have they still have a really good offense that we had win against the first time we played them. So I'm just trying to get prepared for that.
The bad news for Georgia fans is in 3 of the 4 total playoff rematches, the team that lost earlier in the season ended up on top. The good news is this Georgia defense is vastly different than what we saw in mid-October. Reporting in New Orleans, Bailey Burmaster, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, really good day for college football today with those 3 quarterfinal games. Other than, of course, the Bulldogs, who I'll be watching, I'm really excited to see how that Indiana-Alabama game shakes out. All right, and finally here on WTOC Plus, many kids dream of puppies or bicycles under the Christmas tree, but for one little boy, the gift that makes his eyes light up comes with a lesson, too.
I'm only sleeping on Jimmy Carter.
So you got your Jimmy Jammies.
Yeah.
You got your Jimmy Carter blanket.
Yeah.
And you got your
Jimmy Carter pillow.
Perfect. Love it.
In a now viral TikTok video, 5-year-old Ryan Ramos from New Jersey unwraps a pillow, a blanket, and pajamas, lovingly dubbed Jimmy Jammies. Former President Jimmy Carter died 1 year ago this week at 100 years old. Ryan's mom, Lauren, says while other kids look up to superheroes or star athletes, Jimmy Carter is Ryan's hero.
What do you like about Jimmy Carter?
How he was really built houses for other people.
And it's nice to instill those morals in my children. Like I think I put on one of my videos, like that's the goal of all this, is to raise kind, empathetic men. So if I could do that, and he's got the right idea with his values, so hopefully everyone else will catch on and the world could be a better place.
And Ryan doesn't just admire Carter, but he also follows his example. Last year, he helped build a playset for a family through Habitat for Humanity. That's the nonprofit Jimmy Carter partnered with for more than 3 decades. All right, and that is going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We'd like to wish you all a very happy new year. We'll be back in just about 40 minutes for another round of stories during the news at noon. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to get the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.